What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? I don't know what the heck happened to YouTube. It just went down out of nowhere. I went to go live at 8 o'clock, and YouTube wasn't working. So, not sure what was going on there. Well, we got some baseball news tonight. Actually, got quite a bit of baseball news tonight. We got some Cy Young Awards being given out. We got someone heading back to their team. We have a new owner being introduced. We have a pretty good pitcher weighing some offers. We got an old manager being reintroduced to his old team. Let's get to the news. How we doing, everyone? What's going on? Hope everyone's having a fabulous, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. I can't keep track of these days anymore. But yeah, we got some news to dive into tonight. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Hope you're all healthy. Hope you're all well fed. I don't know. Hope you're all just doing good. But let's just dive into the news. So, probably the biggest news of the night. Well, there was one pretty big piece of news that happened earlier today, but they announced the Cy Young Award winners for the 2020 season, and they are Shane Bieber in the American League and Trevor Bauer in the National League. To me, there's not really much surprise here. I mean, Shane Bieber, of course, there was really no surprise there. He was a complete beast this year. In the American League. There was no one that was going to top him. Trevor Bauer, I personally think Jacob deGrom should have won the award, but I said in my awards show the other night, I would not have been surprised to have seen Trevor Bauer get the award. He had a fantastic season himself. Me personally, I would go with Jacob deGrom, but that's just me. Either way, Trevor Bauer winning it is not a bad pick either. Trevor Bauer had himself a phenomenal year. So let's just real quick, let's just go pull up the stats and let's see why these two were the Cy Young Award winners. So let's go ahead. Let's share my screen. But starting off with Shane Bieber, I mean, what a year. What a year. 12 starts on the year, 8-1. 77 innings pitched total, 122 strikeouts in those 77 innings. I mean, my goodness, ERA of 1.63, the FIP a 2.07, not much higher, but still an amazing FIP right there. 14 strikeouts per nine. This guy was just mowing down lineups. So absolutely well-deserved for Shane Bieber. There was no one that really even came close, in my opinion. But now if we go take a look at Bauer, again, like I said, I personally would have gone with deGrom, but that's just me. But Bauer had himself a fantastic season as well. He was 5-4 on the year, but the ERA right there, a 1.73 ERA over 11 starts, 73 innings pitched, 100 strikeouts. If we go take a look, FIP was higher than the ERA, and that's kind of why I went with deGrom personally. deGrom, over the things that he could control, his FIP was a lot lower. But either way, Bauer was fantastic this year. He had 12 strikeouts per nine. I mean, what else is there to say about Trevor Bauer? Just a fantastic season from him. These two, in my opinion, are very well deserving of these awards. So what do you all think of these two winning these Cy Young Awards? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you agree. Give me a thumbs down if you don't agree. Was there anyone else that you would have gone with? Would you have? I mean, I think we can all agree Shane Bieber was the winner in the American League, but I think in the National League, I think you can make an argument for someone like a deGrom or maybe even a Yu Darvish. So let me know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to see most thumbs up here. Again, I love both these guys. Shane Bieber was awesome this year. Trevor Bauer was awesome this year. And, honestly, I think Trevor Bauer, whoops, can't talk. I really think Trevor Bauer helped himself out this year. I think he was pretty outspoken this year. He said a lot of things, and I think that got the attention of a lot of the writers that voted. He was he was just on his game all year, whether it was on the field, off the field, whatever it was with Trevor Bauer, he was just on it all the time. But overall, I mean, hey, great years from both of them. Congratulations to both of them. But yes, your Cy Young Award winners for this year, Shane Bieber in the American League and Trevor Bauer in the National League. I'm seeing most people are hitting the thumbs up, so you all agree with that. Before I move on, if you can, hit that thumbs up button. It's going to help this get out to more baseball fans. Like I said, YouTube went down. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened to YouTube, but I could see maybe some people kind of not going back on YouTube. So if we can like this stream, if those people do come back on, hey, they'll see this stream is out there. Live streams tend to get out there to more fans as long as we're hitting the thumbs up. And if you are just coming in, hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for more baseball news, you definitely want to come here. So hit that subscribe button. And but yeah, let's move on. So next bit of news that I wanted to go over. So yesterday, the new Mets owner, Steve Cohen, was introduced. This was finalized about a few weeks ago. So with Steve Cohen, this is a guy, one of the richest people in the world, buying the Mets. He's been a Mets fan forever now. And a big part of this was simply Steve Cohen just really wanted to build something here. He really wanted to, it wasn't really about money for him. It wasn't really about anything like that. He was saying that he really just wants to kind of just make something memorable here for the Mets. He wants to build something. He wants to build a winner. So let me come back to you here. But yeah, I think this is an exciting move with Steve Cohen. This is a guy where I think the Mets really needed new ownership. I think they needed new people at the top. I think they needed a new direction. And not only did Steve Cohen come in, but now pretty much everyone in that front office was dismissed. So they're going to be having a whole bunch of new people coming into that Mets front office. So there's going to be a lot of changes going on with the Mets, but I think it's changes for the better. But during this press conference, Steve Cohen had a lot of good things to say. Honestly, I think he hit the mark on everything. There wasn't anything weird that he said. There wasn't anything that got any negative reactions, really. He said all of the right things. He came to that press conference ready to go. There was not one thing I think he said wrong, or even questionable. I think he really was speaking to the Mets fans in that press conference. He said all of the right things. The biggest thing is he wants to build not just a winner, but a sustained winner as well. He wants to, have a team, good in the near future, but he wants to have a team that's going to be in the playoffs every single year. He said he doesn't want to have a team that's good one year and then doesn't make the playoffs the next 3 years. He said he wants to bring in high-level talent, but he wants to build that farm system. That Mets farm system is not very good. They're ranked 20th right now. There's not really many good pieces. They got a couple of guys in there but they're a bit far away at the moment. But the Mets, they really need to do something with that farm system. And Steve Cohen, he's a smart guy. He's a business guy. He's not one of the richest people on the planet by coincidence. He knows that it's not just about short-term success. It's about long-term success as well. And I think he is really going to not only spend on players for now, but he's really going to invest in player development. He's going to invest in the farm system for the future. And that's the right thing to do. That's what you need to do. We'll have to see what happens this year in free agency. We're going to have to wait and see what he does. They still don't even have a president of baseball operations yet, but he did say he wants to bring in someone that has experience. He wants someone to have a diverse skill set. He doesn't want someone to come in and learn on his dime. He wants someone that's ready now, and he wants someone that's going to be ready to kind of take control of this team. Steve Cohen, hey, don't forget, he's the owner here. He's simply just supplying the money. So he needs to, it's a good start bringing in Steve Cohen for the ownership role of the Mets, but he needs to hire the right people here. But he was saying also in this press conference that he is going to put a lot of trust into simply the people that know what they're doing. He said he played Little League when he was a kid, and that was pretty much it. He's been a fan. He's gone to games, but he said he wants to let the experts do the work. And so he's not going to micromanage, and I think that's a really good thing. And I think a good owner is someone that lets the people in their positions do their job. And I think, for him to kind of say that, I think that really, I think that probably made a lot of people feel better. So, he's going to let people do their job. So another thing he was saying in this press conference as well is that he really wants to do this for the fans. He's already been interacting with the fans on Twitter. He's been kind of gauging, just all these, he's been kind of asking all these different questions. And, but one thing that really caught my attention was our next topic, and that is Marcus Stroman accepting the qualifying offer from the Mets. And this, to me, I think some people might find this a bit surprising. With Marcus Stroman, where at least with me, I predicted he was going to go to the Angels or maybe a team like the White Sox, a team that kind of needs pitching. Maybe even the Braves are out there as well. And to me, for Marcus Stroman to accept a qualifying offer 1 year, I think this says a lot. I think, in my personal opinion, I think if the old ownership was there with the Mets, I don't think he was going to come back. Or at least I think there was less of a chance he was going to come back. But I think he really liked what Steve Cohen had to say in that press conference yesterday. He even tweeted about it. He said he liked the energy that Steve Cohen brought. And I think that really made Stroman feel better about taking that qualifying offer. And I don't think that's a dumb move either on Stroman. He was out this whole past season. He needs to, I think, in a way, kind of reestablish his value. I am sure his agent was kind of looking out there on the market and was probably saying, you know what? I don't know about these deals. Maybe we're getting a couple, maybe they were getting a couple of multi-year contracts, but they probably weren't very great when it came to money per year. My guess is that he probably saw the 18.7 million. He saw that figure and he said, you know what? I think this is easily the most money I'm going to get in 1 year, because you know what? He was out this whole season. If you really think about it, why is a team going to kind of just shell out a whole bunch of money? They want to know if he's healthy. They want to know if he's still, if he's going to be effective. So I think in a way it was smart on him to accept that qualifying offer. But this is big for the Mets. This is huge for the Mets. You got DeGrom, but now you got Stroman. And you didn't have Stroman this whole year. If you had Stroman this year, maybe the Mets get into the playoffs. Maybe they get in as a 7th or 8th seed. But with the Mets, I think this is a big, big move, bringing in Stroman. But I still don't think this eliminates the possibility of the Mets maybe going after a Trevor Bauer, or maybe like a Charlie Morton. I think you could see, I definitely think you're going to see the Mets be in on Trevor Bauer a little bit. It's not very often you get a guy like Trevor Bauer out on the market. I think if the Mets, if they got Trevor Bauer, you got a rotation of Jacob DeGrom, Trevor Bauer, and Marcus Stroman as the 1, 2, 3. Come on. That's nasty. And I think Trevor Bauer fits into that mold of kind of what Steve Cohen wants to do. I think Trevor Bauer, he's going to give you that short-term success, but I think Trevor Bauer is going to be fine over the next, 3 to 5 years, or whatever it ends up being that he ends up signing. I think Trevor Bauer is going to have longevity as a pitcher. He takes care of himself. He knows kind of what to do with his off seasons. He knows how to get ready for games. I don't think Trevor Bauer you're going to see get injured very much. I think that would be a good investment. I'm not a businessman by any means. I'm not an expert when it comes to baseball by any means, but I think Trevor Bauer would be a great fit with the Mets. Could you imagine that those 3 at the top of that rotation, and then eventually you're going to get Noah Syndergaard that comes back. You got Peterson at the back end. Come on. That could be a really deep pitching staff for the Mets. We'll have to wait and see what Steve Cohen ends up doing. But Marcus Stroman going back, I think, is a big move. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think Marcus Stroman going back to the Mets is a good move? Do you think this is risky? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with Marcus Stroman going back to the Mets. Do you think he should have gone elsewhere? Tell me what you think in the chat. I'm pretty excited to see what you guys think. Because to me personally, I wasn't really seeing it. I didn't think it was going to happen, but, kind of when you think about it, though, like I said, you got new ownership in town. you had that press conference, and I found it to be interesting that Stroman accepted that qualifying offer after the press conference. It made me think maybe Stroman kind of wanted to see what he had to say. And also, it was also a good sign, too. Steve Cohen, Stroman, he tweeted saying, hey, he loved the energy that Steve Cohen was bringing, and he wanted to come back and have the Mets be a good team. But a good move on Steve Cohen. He tweeted back to him, said he was excited to meet him. He was going to talk to him in a few days. So that's the kind of owner I think you're going to have from Steve Cohen. He's going to interact with the fans. He's going to interact with the players, but he's going to kind of stay out of the way. He's going to kind of let the people, he's going to let the baseball people do what baseball people do. So we'll have to wait and see how this move ends up being for Marcus Stroman and the Mets. We'll have to see. First off, is Marcus Stroman going to be healthy? It seems like this is a guy that deals with durability issues. This is why I thought maybe the Mets should have moved on for Marcus Stroman. But if he's healthy and he can show that he is durable this year, if he shows that he's ready to go, this could end up being a very good signing for the Mets. And it could end up working out for Marcus Stroman as well. If he has a good year, next offseason, have himself a good season this year, could end up getting a pretty good contract next year. So we'll have to wait and see. But right now we got 46 people in the chat. Hope everyone is having a great day. We're just catching up on the news right now in baseball. Not too many things to kind of talk about, but we got a few things to kind of keep an eye on. But yes, if you are here, hit that thumbs up for me. It's going to help more baseball fans see this stream and come in. And if you are just joining, think about hitting that subscribe button. I'm talking baseball all the time here. It's the off season. It's one of my favorite times of the year. So I love all the free agents. I love all the trades. I love all the rumors. So hit that subscribe button if you're interested in looking for more baseball content. So, but here we go. Moving on to the next bit of news. So we have besides Stroman, we have another free agent picture out there, and that's Kevin Gausman. So Kevin Gausman right now, now that Stroman is off the market, a lot of people are looking at Kevin Gausman as being, besides Trevor Bauer, the next best available pitcher. And now the question is he going to accept the qualifying offer from the Giants, or is he going to be looking at these offers? So let's kind of get into this. Let me come back to you all. Actually, let me share my screen and let's kind of get to, let me pull up the article that I was reading earlier. So CBS Sports, wait, hold on. What was that? Oh, did Gausman, did he accept it? Oh, okay. All right. Kevin Gausman accepted it. Oh, wow. The last time I checked this was not here. So this must have been during the time when YouTube was down, and I was kind of waiting for everything to kind of start working again. But okay, all right. We got a bit of breaking news here. All right, look at that. We have Kevin Gausman. He has accepted. Nope, don't want this playing. Kevin Gausman has accepted the qualifying offer from the Giants, and I think that's a great move. Oh, Jay Paul, was that about 2 hours ago? I apologize, everyone. I didn't see this. Usually I get notifications on my phone when something like this happens, but I didn't get that notification. What is wrong with me? Kira, you're right. I am very slow. I am not good at this. But hey, awesome. Hey, cool. Now we got something to talk about, or something else to talk about at least. But Kevin Gausman, this was a guy where he was getting some multi-year offers, but it kind of made me think, maybe he wasn't really getting the deals that he was really looking for. Kevin Gausman, to me, I still think there is a lot left that he can prove. He had himself a good year, so let me pull up the stats. I always like going to Baseball Reference real quick, but he had himself a pretty good year. He was only 3-3 on the year, but he had a 3.62 ERA. He had a lot of strikeouts this year, almost about 12 strikeouts per 9. He had a lot of good velocity. But overall, he's been actually pretty good in the last few seasons. If you just look at the FIP, I mean, he had a big ERA here, with Atlanta and then, and Cincinnati. Well, he kind of calmed it down with Cincinnati a bit, but it looked like he came out of the bullpen more. But this year, he signed with the Giants. He was back to starting. And he had himself he had himself a pretty good year, a 3.09 FIP. Like I said, he was striking out a lot of guys. So it kind of makes me think, teams maybe weren't giving him the best offer that he was really looking for. So in my opinion, I think it's good on him. I predicted that he was going to go back to oh, hey, I got a prediction right. All right. I got a prediction right. Okay. All right. Hey, I got one free agent prediction correct this offseason. So, hey, if I get everything else wrong, at least I got one right. So, but yes, I did say Kevin Gausman, at least in my opinion, I thought he was going to take the qualifying offer. And, hey, he has. So, Kevin Gausman, I think he's getting a good salary this year. And now he has another year to try and build more on that value of his, and he can go into next offseason kind of like Marcus Stroman, and he can get a big multi-year deal. But this is going to be a big year on Kevin Gausman. He's betting on himself. But I think this is good for the Giants. They're getting a good picture back. He's, as you can see, he's comfortable in San Francisco. Now the question is will the Giants go after someone else? Are they going to go after another pitcher? Maybe keep building on that rotation. Maybe that rebuild won't take too long. Look at the Giants this year. They were right there for a playoff spot. I know it was kind of the COVID season. They had the 8 seeds. So, but yeah, in a regular season, who knows if the Giants would have been competing, for an actual wild card spot. But I think Kevin Gausman, if he can kind of keep it going from what he was doing this year, I think you could see the Giants be a bit of a contender next year. So what do you all think of Kevin Gausman going back to the Giants? Let me know in the chat what you think. We're up to 60 people in the chat. That is awesome. Thank you all for coming in tonight to check on some baseball news. But give me a thumbs up if you approve of the Kevin Gausman signing with the Giants. Let me know what you think, or give me a thumbs down if you don't think it's going to end up being a good move. So maybe he should have taken a multi-year offer somewhere else. So let me know. I'm seeing a thumbs down. I'm seeing a thumbs up. There's that thumbs down from Hayden. Come on, what are we all thinking? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think? Kevin Gausman going back to the Giants. What do you think? Let me take a look at the chat real quick before I move on to our last bit of news. I'm seeing a lot of Mets talk going on. Alrighty, okay, here we go. Some thumbs up, some thumbs down, or thumbs down right there. Another thumbs up. I think it's a good move. I think if Kevin Gausman wasn't offered that deal, I think you could have seen maybe a team like the Yankees maybe come in and see, hey, what can Kevin Gausman do for us? So a team like that. But I think it's a good move for the Giants. I think it's a good move for Kevin Gausman. We'll have to wait and see if it's a good move for Kevin Gausman. He's really betting on himself for this year. He's looking for a big contract. So either way, hey, if he ends up just completely kicking the bucket, this year, then hey, at least he got $18 million. So that's not bad to get $18 million. So, but okay. Last bit of news. We have Alex Cora being reintroduced to the Red Sox. So I kind of already touched up on Alex Cora a little bit in my stream last week, this past Friday. But Alex Cora, there are some things that he said during this press conference that to me were very expected. So kind of the big thing that ended up being talked about like I thought it would. Let me come back to you all here. The big thing that I thought that would end up being the big talking point was the cheating scandal. That was very expected. He knew he was going to be answering all of those questions. So the biggest thing that he basically said what I thought he was going to say. He apologized for it. He said he learned from it. He reflected on it. He spent a lot of time with family. One thing that really stuck out to me, what he said was he while he liked being at home, he said he didn't like being at home for the wrong reason. So, but he said he enjoyed spending time with his family this past year, and that was good. He said he learned a lot, not just about the whole situation, but he learned a lot about being a dad, about, spending more time with family. So, I mean, really, if you think about it, Alex Cora has been away from his family for a lot of time now in the last few years. So for Alex Cora to, have that time again with his family, with his wife, with his daughters, with whoever else, hey, it was good year for him to have that quality time, but he was ready to come back to work. But he apologized about the whole thing. He said he reflected on the whole thing. He didn't really get into the thought process behind. Someone tried asking him about the thought process of what was he thinking during that time. He didn't really want to go down that road. He didn't really want to talk about that so much. I was kind of hoping he would. But hey, you know what? There's no point really going down that path. It's just going to open up just more can of worms and whatever. There's no point even bringing it up. It would have been entertaining to hear what he had to say about it. But he said he's just ready to move on and he's just ready to get back to work. He kind of reflected a little on the 2019 team, said that they just weren't deep enough to make the playoffs. But he said this past year in this shortened season, he said the team was just really painful to watch, but again, they just weren't deep enough. They need a lot of pieces. He says he has a lot of ideas, but the biggest thing that he says, he doesn't want to just get back to winning. We can go back to Steve Cohen a little bit earlier. This is Chaim Bloom's philosophy as well, where they want to build a consistent winner, and Alex Cora really touched up on that a lot, where he wants to be a manager for a team that's going to be contending every single year. So for him, Alex Cora, in my opinion, I think he said a lot of the right things. I mean, as a fan, maybe we could have gotten some more details. Would have been, nice. Would have been maybe a little more entertaining. But, it was kind of, one of these press conferences where it was like, all right, well, a lot of people saw this press conference coming. Even the Red Sox, Chaim Bloom, Sam Kennedy, one of the owners, he kind of mentioned that as well. He said, oh, well, no surprise here. You all know who this is. It's Alex Cora. But in my opinion, I kind of touched on this in that stream from this past Friday night talking about Alex Cora coming back. I think he's the right man for the job. I don't think there was any other candidate that was going to be better than him. Maybe Sam Fold could have been interesting. I think he could have brought a lot to the table. But in my opinion, Alex Cora, he's the best man for the job. And so to me, to hear him say all the right things during that press conference, I thought that was, good on him. Let's move on. Forget, hey, it's time to move on. There's no other way around it. So, yes, Toby Christensen, yes. DJ LeMahieu declined the qualifying offers. So I'll actually touch up on that real quick. DJ LeMahieu, so he is set. Also JT Realmuto, so we can just go to ESPN.com right here. Let me share my screen. But yes, JT Realmuto and George Springer as well. Sorry about that. And DJ LeMahieu. I mean, as expected, they all rejected the qualifying offers. So it kind of, I was talking with one of my good friends who's a big Yankee fan. He was saying he's kind of wondering if DJ LeMahieu is going to end up coming back. And that's going to be interesting to see. What ends up happening there with DJ LeMahieu. He's going to be looking for, this was expected. There's no way around this. I knew this was going to, everyone knew this was going to happen. DJ LeMahieu, you knew he was going to reject the offer. He's looking for a big time deal. But if you're the Yankees, do you want to bring back DJ LeMahieu on a big multi-year deal? He's 32 years old. He's not getting any younger. Do you want him on a big time deal? Do you want to be paying this guy anywhere from $25 to $30 million a year? Do you want to be doing that with DJ LeMahieu? Especially if he's going to be looking for a 5, maybe 6, maybe 7-year deal? Do you want to do that with DJ LeMahieu? I think in the near future, I think that could end up being good. But do you want to have this risk of, an aging infielder where he's really not, probably towards the end of that contract, might not be worth that contract. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think he ends up going back to the Yankees. I think they figure out a way to make it work. But I could also see DJ LeMahieu not coming back to the Yankees as well. Maybe the Yankees want to, I was talking with my best friend, like I said, who's a big Yankee fan. And, he was saying as well, maybe the Yankees will want to improve at defense at shortstop, where they really lacked last year. Do they want to bring in a guy like Simmons? Maybe make a trade, maybe for a guy like DeYoung on the Cardinals. Maybe bring in some good defense. Maybe go after a Jose Iglesias. That was another guy my best friend mentioned as well. And, that could be really interesting. The Yankees really need to improve on defense up the middle. They had bad defense at catcher. They had bad defense at second base. Well, maybe not second base so much, but shortstop. And defense in center field this year wasn't all that great. Aaron Hicks still needs to kind of work on getting his legs under him a little bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the Yankees do. Are they going to want to bring back LeMahieu? There were actually some people out there thinking maybe LeMahieu would accept this offer. I didn't really see that happening. I mean, this guy's he's coming off of a batting title. Why would he accept a 1 year, $19 million deal? But as for JT Realmuto, I mean, of course, there was no way he was going to be taking that. George Springer, you knew he wasn't going to be taking that. So again, there's no surprise here. There's no surprise with these three rejecting the offers. I don't think there was no way they were going to be taking these deals. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what the Yankees end up doing. I think they're going to have LeMahieu come back. I think he's been very important for that team. They've had guys going down left and right. He's moved all over the infield. He did have a bit of an injury this year, but that didn't really end up, causing a lot of problems. So LeMahieu, I do think he ends up going back to New York. I think he's just been a good fit there. He kind of fits into what they do. But yeah, DJ LeMahieu, George Springer, JT Realmuto rejecting the offers. Let me come back to you. So, again, kind of just doing a recap of the news tonight. So Trevor Bauer, Shane Bieber, they both win the Cy Young. Pretty expected. Steve Cohen was introduced as the new owner of the New York Mets. Marcus Stroman accepted a qualifying offer from the Mets. Some people found this to be a little surprising. Some people found this to be not surprising. I'm kind of on the fence. It makes sense. He kind of wanted to wait and see, at least in my opinion. I think he wanted to wait and see how Steve Cohen would be with his press conference. But in the end, I think Marcus Stroman probably just wasn't having a good market. But Kevin Gausman, at the time of making this graphic here, Kevin Gausman was weighing offers, and just breaking recently, Kevin Gausman accepted the deal from the Giants, accepted the qualifying offer, which I expected he was going to go back to the Giants, either accepting that offer or taking a bit of a multi-year deal. I'm not surprised about the 1 year deal. I think he's betting on himself here. Probably kind of like Stroman didn't really have much of a market. Because really Kevin Gausman, he had basically one good season. So, with the Giants this past year. So I think if he can duplicate that again, he could have himself a very good market for next offseason. And the last bit of news tonight, like I was talking about earlier, Alex Cora brought back as the manager of the Boston Red Sox. He was introduced or reintroduced yesterday at Fenway Park. So that is completely official now. Everyone, that is kind of all I have for tonight. Not a very long stream. This is kind of how these off-season streams are going to go. They're not going to be very long. They're going to just be kind of touching up on the news. So in my opinion, I think we had some pretty decent news today. Had a bit of surprise news with Kevin Gausman right there. And some stuff happening in the last couple of days. So, but everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I might go live tomorrow night, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, everyone, that's all I got for tonight. Before I get out of here, make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. If you haven't already, think about subscribing. We're talking baseball all the time here. So, everyone, have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.